Hi, and welcome to episode 15 of The Well. Can't believe we're at episode 15.
Okay. I'm Kat.
Oh, we
Stuffy
got a
nose
low
cat.
energy cat. Stuffy nose, low energy cat.
It's allergies. It's like a present every day. You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Or a
And
box of chocolates.
all right, Forrest. Thanks, Jenna. So this topic that we're going to talk about today, I'm already getting high blood pressure. My anxiety is already starting to spike because we're going to be talking about kind of travel. Now, this is something Kat and I have quite a bit of experience with, being road warriors in our
Yes.
past lives. And we thought we'd share some interesting stories, especially we just came back from Podfest 2026, which was in Orlando.
Yes.
So the travel quirks are fresh in my mind, and as I'm sure they're fresh in Kathryn's mind as well. So we thought we would chat about it. I have as anyone that knows me and has been on my Facebook for 10 years, got to experience the lovely ins and outs of my travel nightmares. So people would actually say that if I'm traveling, they will not. That's literally my influence of how bad travel has been for me. So, but I thought, let's just do a quick, what am I trying to say here? How did you enjoy Podfest? We'll start there and then we'll get into the travel. I know it's a quick pivot, but I thought we would just kind of give a brief overview of our experience at Podfest 2026, which we were invited to by Buzzsprout. Shout out to Buzzsprout. We do use their platform. No, we're not sponsored. But if you want to sponsor us, hey, more than happy to take the sponsorship.
Yes. Well, okay. So surprisingly, the travel on the plane was not too bad. Usually when you go to the airport, there's delays or there's a lot of people. So I have to say that the flight there and back wasn't too bad. But I will say, and I'm sure a lot of people have experienced this, that there always seems to be a problem person on your flight. You think you can get away, like you get to the gate and you're looking at everybody that's going to board the plane. At least I look, and I'm like, and this is probably terrible, but I've gotten to a point, a certain age, where I'm like, you look at someone and you think, are they going to be a problem on the plane? And sometimes, well, for the most part, I feel like I'm pretty correct. I had a guy one time, and I know I'm kind of not relating it to the Podfest travel, but I had this guy one time, a kid, and he was very ill. And he was like hawking up a lung, literally coughing his head off. And I was like, oh my gosh, he's going to end up sitting right next to me, not wearing a mask. Fortunately, he put a mask on. I think his parents made him put a mask on. It was a teenager. You're about to say something?
Yeah. What does this have to do with Podfest? Just curious.
I'm getting there.
My goodness.
I'm setting up the scenario. So, sometimes you can look at people or like someone with a baby. And I hate to say that because I've had 2 kids but I know what it's like is my child going to scream the entire time on the plane, and you always end up sitting next to them. So we get on the plane. I didn't see any of that. There was no evidence of problem people or, loud people. So we get on the plane and sure enough, we sit down and we get all situated. Do you want to take over the story, dear?
No, I want to talk about Podfest. I don't want to talk about the travel yet.
Oh, okay. Well, you talk about Podfest. It was great.
I feel like, okay, back to your story. Never mind. We'll do that for a future episode.
Okay. So we sit down and there's this loudness coming from behind us. I have my noise canceling headphones on, which really didn't cancel any noise behind me. So there are these 2 guys sitting behind us. And, when people usually sit down, they're kind of, hyped up. They talk to each other, their neighbor, and then it usually settles down, but it didn't. And it's a 3.5-hour flight, I think, to Orlando.
It's like 3 hours.
Change.
Yeah,
And,
like
it's longer because you have to sit and wait for the gate and all that. And so this guy is just, and his voice is so loud, and he's on the phone talking about big deals that he's doing. And I mean, he's literally shouting it. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe he'll quiet down after he talks to his name. No, he then enlists the flight attendant. So they're chatting behind us. And this is all within the 3-hour period. and he won't stop talking. It's like abrasive. Am I wrong?
No, and I got to learn about the $850,000 Ferrari that he just ordered with all this custom carbon fiber and like 30. I got the full breakdown of every custom option on this guy's Ferrari. I mean, the not only the volume that both of them were speaking at, it was what they were talking about. I was just like, gosh, wow, unbelievable. It was unbelievable to think that was even true. I mean, just the amount of money that this guy was talking about he was spending was just nuts.
But that's not really the issue. The money in the car is not the issue. The issue
point is it was so loud. It was so loud I could hear every single detail of what he was talking about. And I had noise canceling headphones on as well.
Yeah. And I think the point is, I don't know if this has happened to people, but you go somewhere in public and someone is on their phone and they are incredibly loud. Like they do not care who hears them. They're talking business or they're, whatever. I mean, there's literally no self-awareness, that, hey, you know what? Someone might want to take a nap. It's an early morning flight. Or, hey, someone doesn't want to hear someone talking for 3 hours. They do turn the lights off in the cabin for a reason, so it can be calm. But no, he did not care. There was no thought whatsoever. Even when you give the little like turnaround and the look, to kind of, sometimes that works, and when people turn around, they look, and it's kind of shaming to people. But no, there was no shame. So that was great, that was great.
I was pretty tempted to say something, not for them to stop talking, but just like turn the volume halfway down. I mean, it was obnoxiously loud. So, and I could see during takeoff, but when we were, kind of at a cruising altitude, I felt like it got louder.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
That self-awareness is the right word. And I feel so, having traveled for 10 plus years every week on a plane, you start to really learn about the ins and outs of travel. So it's quite interesting to see people's travel habits. And I think I've seen just about everything. And loud talkers or the person that sits next to you. Now I'm polite, but sometimes I just want to get on the plane. I don't want to be bothered. Right. So if you and I are not traveling together and I get a person sitting next to me that just wants to chat me up the entire time, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's real tough. Sometimes it's just best to put like porn on your iPad. No, just kidding.
Okay.
Like a deterrent. But even when you put your headphones in, they just keep talking. So
have you ever noticed when the people that have their iPads, that take their iPads on the plane, have you ever done this or noticed someone doing this where you'll put a movie on your iPad or someone else will, and people are always like watching your iPad with you? I think no, people don't mean to, but it's like right there. And it's just so funny to me because I look around the plane, I'm like watching people and I'm like, oh, look, that guy's watching that movie,
That doesn't bother me too much.
No, it doesn't bother me. I just think it's funny talking about habits.
What I can't understand, and I can't wait for the comments on this, but why people will watch their phone or their iPad without headphones on the plane. Like for all of us,
that's another one.
I just don't understand that. Like, are we in your living room? Are we all, sharing the same screen? I just don't understand why people, I could see if you forgot your headphones, but
they do have them.
Travel tip. You can always ask the flight attendant. They usually will give them to you for free. So it's just a weird thing to me. The other weird thing, and people that take their shoes off on the plane. I'll never understand that.
Yeah. Gosh.
Like, I don't get it. I saw one guy. So here, real quick story about shoes on the plane. So I forgot where I was going. Could have been anywhere in the country, but I was seated on the aisle and the guy across from me in this aisle seat he took his shoes off and started clipping his toenails.
Did he really? Okay.
Clipping his toenail. That's a level of comfort that I don't like. You're not in your bathroom. You're in a public area in a tight quarters, and someone's got to clean that shit up. Like nobody wants to clean up your toenail clippings. And why on the plane? what possesses you to all? And I thought you couldn't take clippers. Like, anyway,
Wow.
that freaked me out. And I've seen that more than once. Like, this wasn't a one-time thing. So
yeah, I
I'd
believe
love
it.
to know what compels every time I talk to people that take their shoes off, because I'm very curious. They're like, I just like to be comfortable. But
Right.
some people are in bare feet. Like, that's just, if you ever watch a crew clean a plane, they don't do much. So it's really nasty to think to put your feet on the carpet.
This is why I don't like having my bags. Like, this is why I don't put my luggage bags on my bed. Because if I'm not cleaning my luggage, like, I literally put my book bag under the seat on flights, just like everybody. And I'm so disgusted by like what is on that carpet that I will not be super careful about where I put my bags. I just think it's really nasty. And probably I'm a little OCD about cleanliness, but I mean, come on, think about it. I mean, it's nasty. I see people like laying on the carpet of the terminals, and you know how often they clean those? Never. Okay. People spill food. There's like bodily fluids. I mean, it's disgusting. Like we were in the terminal. And I get people have to eat on the go, right? I get it. In the terminal, you're eating. There was this teenage boy. He had a salad, and he's like spilling the salad all over the carpet. Like no self-awareness. He's just like talking to his friends, eating a salad. I'm just so grossed out because ranch does not get better with age,
So it sure doesn't. And neither did that oily mac and cheese that just kind of got smeared all over the carpet too.
It was like a group of these teen guys. And he literally spilled that entire thing of mac and cheese all over himself and the floor, and picked it right back up and ate it.
Yeah,
and
just ate it. It was like 5-second rule. It's still good, still good.
So
but
there's that funny. Adam Rose, I think it is. He does all those funny memes about different. It's him looking at things, different clips, and he's just like shaking his head. And it cracks me up. He does one on travel, and you think it's a joke, but it is not. Like, literally, these things are real video clips, and he's pulled them, and it's not AI. So it's funny because it's so true.
So, question for you: What's been your most nightmarish plane experience, like travel on the plane, or funniest?
Okay, so. And I said this to you the other day, actually, when we were traveling to Florida. I was like, considering looking at like Dallas, Fort Worth, and how many people travel per day, how many flights there are out each day, you would think you would hear more horrendous things happening. So I want to say I am very grateful for everybody who makes travel like safe. But, as long as you get there in one piece, that's all I really care about. But you see some funny stuff and some weird crap. I mean, I think one time there was a lady who was literally having a fit, and I always feel like it's first class. I know that's terrible. But so this lady she got really drunk. She was having a fit, and security had to come and get her, and we're all like, geez, woman, like, we want to just get off this plane, and you're affecting everybody on this plane, right? And then I think the food thing is food and noise. I don't know why that affects me so much, but like someone that brings on the plane, I try to be super courteous when I travel. I try, so I'm not going to bring a big stinky meal on a plane where it's enclosed, and I'll probably get comments from people about this, but I find that so incredibly rude, like bringing this big stinky thing of food on board. There's no air flow, so I've got to sit there and smell your beans. Or like your smelly salad, and I get people are hungry, but could you just pick something that doesn't smell up the entire cabin? Because it never fails. People spill that stuff. Someone's always spilling something, and then it stays there for the entire flight. So, yeah. And then not that I feel like I'm talking about pet peeves of travel, but
We
I
are.
guess that's pretty much it. And it always bothers me when someone is struggling. We've talked about this, putting their luggage up in the overhead bin and no one, not even the flight attendant, bothers to assist. But we have also said sometimes, like, you helped someone recently, that lady pull her thing off the belt, her big luggage bag off the belt, because it was huge and she was so tiny. But sometimes you feel like you shouldn't even touch people's stuff or like offer to help because people are going to turn around and be like, don't touch my stuff. I'm offended, But I also said too, well, how many times does that happen? You're like, never. And I'm like, that's like a fear we have in our heads anymore. That we try, like, it's like being helpful is offensive or being courteous is offensive now.
Yeah. So
what about you?
You bring, you know me, I got tons, but
I know you do.
I'll share a few that have stuck in my brain. But so little bit of a backstory. Since I traveled so much, I had good perks, right? So I was
for work.
Correct, for work. So I had tons of status. So I would be bumped to first class quite often. That's not some weird flex. So
business
when you were
travel,
talking
you
about,
always get points.
Right. And business travelers, different breed. Not the friendliest. We're all focused on getting to where we got to go, right? We're working. It's always stressful because you're dependent upon the planes and getting there, especially when you're billing, right? So as a billable entity, your travel is billable for some clients. And especially if it takes you 10 hours to get to your destination, it's a pain in the ass. So one particular flight, I forget if I was flying out or coming back home. It doesn't really matter. I think I was going to a client and I was in first class and there was a woman in the row in front of me towards the window and they kept serving her alcohol. When I say she kept drinking, she drank a ton. And this was not a super long flight. So as they kept feeding her the booze, her level of intoxication escalated quite quickly. Now, slurring of the words then became like disorderly and then just lost control. So as she's accosting the first class cabin and she's making her rounds, she's standing up, she's being loud. The flight attendants are asking her to now take a seat, buckle in, calm down. Well, she decided that was the opportune time to projectile vomit all over everyone in the first class cabin. So that would be literally spraying everyone everywhere. And what was weird, and then she had to be restrained because she would not calm down. They had to restrain her. So after she vomited, they restrained her and then she finally passed out. And I think there was like 30 minutes left on the flight and we're all
what a nightmare.
Just in a bad shape, right? Like I got chunks on me. I'm just like, gosh, now I'm supposed to be at the client, right? Now I'm going to have to figure out how to get into my hotel and change. That was awful. Well, they let her off the plane. What I was thinking was like, this woman's not safe to be operating a vehicle, to be walking. I mean, she was so high. She must have been on medication because the level of intoxication was unbelievable. So that was a fun one. Another interesting one, and I felt really bad, was, I love animals, and someone brought their service dog on, and I was flying back from Arizona to Philly. It's a fairly long flight. It was a German Shepherd, and I was not in the first class cabin. I was back in coach, and this dog was up in first class with the owner, and dog got sick and crapped all over the plane. And when I tell you, the smell was enough to make everyone on the plane sick, we had to do an emergency landing. That's how bad it was. Literally, I felt so bad for the dog and I felt really bad for the owner, but man, that was rough. And I have so many more stories, but I will say that, having had status with one particular airline, if you know the big hub out of DFW, you'll know who I'm referring to. I'm pretty sure I was on the naughty list for this company because every week I would keep a spreadsheet of how many delays, cancellations, impacts, issues that I experienced.
It was impressive.
And this is back when Twitter was Twitter and not X. I would tweet to this particular airline my experience with them. So they didn't care for that. But I have to say, like, as a customer and as someone that worked for a company that spent hundreds of millions of dollars on travel because there was over 500,000 consultants in the field, it's insane to me that they do not listen to any feedback at all.
Yeah.
So, and I've been polite,
big.
I've been rude, I've been nice, I've been not nice, but literally the planes, they're filthy. They're not clean. The flight out there, my seat was broken to and from the flight. The Wi-Fi was down the entire flight.
Oh, yeah, that's true. It was.
So all these quirks, I know it's not the end of the world, but the fact that, I think Delta now offers free Wi-Fi. The fact that other airlines don't is ridiculous to me. Like, really? They want to charge you $50 a month?
Well,
I mean, come on.
That really goes into paying for quality. It's really amazing to me how much, and I know that we're kind of diving into the money aspect, but the amount of money that you pay, like recently they bumped up the cost if you want to ride first class or even what's the second level? It's like priority or choice or something.
So for example, American Airlines, they're tiered ticketing now. You could do the bare bones ticket, but it's almost like flying Frontier where everything else is a la carte. So
yeah,
you have to pay for a bag. You have to do this. And I'm like, man,
you have to pay for everything.
Yeah, they've made travel so complicated. And the next tier up, like whatever it is, it's a significant bump in price, but you're going to end up paying that anyway with the lower fare ticket. And that's how they get you. Oh, wow, this is only a $300 flight. So it's really frustrating now. And I don't know how it is with some of it. I usually fly exclusively with the airline I have status with, just because I can use my points for upgrades and whatnot. So, but I'm finding it very, very difficult to be loyal to any of them because of, and we can get into this about the hotels. Now, I've been Diamond with Hilton for a long time, and I've been platinum with Marriott.
And for the record, I've never really had status for anything. So he's the one with the status, not me.
That's just because I traveled as much as I did. So it's one of the few perks about traveling. But for example, we stayed at a property in Orlando. It was not cheap. It was almost $300 a night for just a basic hotel room. So we get there and the staff couldn't have been more miserable. Right. And I'm not talking, we weren't there at like 3 a.m. This was like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Like, here's your key.
Yeah. Barely made eye contact. So, which, whatever. Everyone has a bad day. But to me, if you're in customer service and especially hospitality, you should be hospitable.
Right.
Like kind
of be.
Your first point of contact when you check in shouldn't be a miserable experience.
And for the record, also, like I don't think we're asking for a lot. It's like you smile. Hey, thanks for being a customer. Okay, here's your key. And, let us know if you need anything. I mean, it really doesn't take a lot, but apparently it does.
I would have just been fine. Like, hey, how you doing? How was your flight? Or where are you coming in from? Like stuff like as they're typing away on whatever they're doing. So we get to the hotel, we check in. And then they want to hit you with a $200 incidental fee. So they literally, and I'm like, incidentals for what? There's no
I haven't done anything.
Right? Like there's nothing in the room that I could buy. So I don't know what incidentals you're talking about. So I guess it was for that little crappy area downstairs that you could get like snacks and stuff, that those would be considered incidentals. And then, so anyway, we get in the room. And the AC control panel is ripped off the wall, not working. I'm like, and I need AC in a hotel. I freeze Kathryn out. It's terrible, but she puts up with me. But I put it on the lowest. You could literally freeze meat in the room. It's like a meat locker. So I can't be warm in the hotel. So I go over, I turn the AC down, and the room just is not great. It's old. It feels old. It smells like mold. It's got a very strong odor.
Pretty bad. We couldn't tell where it was coming from.
And I have a I know. And this is a lot of hotels, not just the one we stayed in.
Yeah.
What's with the pillows? They're like tissues. They are so thin. And as soon as you put your head on it, they deflate to nothing. I'm like, this isn't why is it so difficult to get a pillow that actually supports
has
your
a
head?
form?
You might as well not have anything on the bed, considering what these pillows are. I never will understand why hotels provide these awful pillows. And I've stayed in
multiples.
Very expensive hotels and not so expensive hotels. And, even at the Four Seasons, I've had like miserable experiences, but it is better though, but not for the money you pay. But I just will never understand the pillow situation in a hotel. It's terrible. Is it just me or am I exaggerating? Those pillows were god awful.
I have to say, I don't pay much attention to stuff, but those are pretty bad. And they have 2 pillows per each side. So you can imagine if they were already flat, like there was no height benefit to having 2 of them.
Yeah, it was a regular size pillow, and then it was like a throw pillow, like this little square pillow. I'm like, there's not even 2 bad. It was weird. So that was annoying. And then there were stains on the towels, which is gross, right?
Yeah.
Throw it away.
Mascara stains.
And then the bottles, and I never use, you do, but I never use the hotel shampoo or any stuff like that. I never use what's in the bottle.
I mean, sometimes it's good.
It wasn't full. Like,
no, they don't fill them up.
Was completely empty. I'm like, what the heck? So that's annoying. It's just, it doesn't live up to basic expectations of we're paying a lot of money for a service and we're not getting, but why are we always apprehensive to complain, right? As opposed, we should have went down that day and said, hey, this room just isn't up to snuff. But I know
honestly,
they were sold
I don't
out.
think there was any other room that would have been better.
So then go ahead.
Were you going to talk about you're probably getting to it. Okay.
So
the creme de la creme.
At night,
the cherry on top.
We're closing the shade.
No, it was in the morning when we woke up.
Yeah, I know. But at night, we closed the shade.
Yeah. So it's a roll down shade.
Yeah. You couldn't tell much. It was this like old blue, freaking weird, old school shade.
Matches the curtains.
Yeah. Awful. So
they weren't bad. It
was
really old.
It's old. It was just very old.
Yeah.
So in the morning, it literally, as the sun starts to peek through, I'm like, what is that? It literally looked like a buckshot from a shotgun.
And I'm on the side where I'm like facing, when I'm asleep, I'm facing the window. And when I wake up, I'm like, what? My eyes are kind of blurry. And I'm like, what is that? What is happening with the window?
So literally it was so old that it had worn through the dye of the fabric and it was
the material.
Clear. It wasn't a hole. It was just rubbed through. They weren't holes.
Okay. I thought it was
literally
like
the material was rubbed through. No, it may have been, but it literally looked like
I didn't get close,
stains, but it was rubbed. It was gone up and down so many times it had become translucent. It's almost like when you wear a t-shirt too long, like, that gym, that guy at the gym that always wears that white t-shirt that he's been wearing for like 10 years. And it's so sweat riddled that it's eaten through the material and it's become see-through. That was that shade. So it was
stop. Anybody says,
and listen.
Before anybody says, well, why didn't you tell? Don't want to get a comment that says, well, why didn't you just tell we definitely we're leaving a review. So just letting you know, we are going to inform them.
I did text. They always text you. And I did text that the room wasn't up to me. And all they said was sorry. Right. So they said, hey, we hope to be able to do better next time. Right. Those automated responses are such garbage. They don't care. They don't care. And there was 2 towels. Now I know this whole eco movement, and which is fine. I never let them clean my room when I'm there, which is fine by me. But 2 towels, that's it. That's all you got was 2
for as long as we were staying.
Yeah, and the shower just constantly leaked. Like constantly.
Oh yeah, you couldn't get it to turn off.
So that's a good question. Why? I think this is every hotel chain to piss their customer. It's kind of like payback. You can never figure out the shower. It is the most complicated thing to get to figure out where the hot water is, and then to figure out how to turn the shower head on, and then how to figure out how to turn it off. You're either scolding yourself in burning hot water or freezing cold. You can never get it right.
Spraying water everywhere.
Everywhere. I was just like, man, every single hotel, it's a different experience and it's always difficult to figure out.
And it cracks me up because everybody is always into this like modern look, like minimalist look, and even at the airports. And so you're literally standing there trying to like figure out how to wash your hands in the airport or figure out how to turn the water on or off. And I'm like, I just need something simple. Hot, cold, here's how you turn it on. Stop with the fancy stuff. You can't figure it out. It's like a learning curve.
All right. So back to the hotel. I heard your little Jeopardy song. Thank you for playing us out. So hotels are just the other thing that really irked me about where we stayed. Now, I get it. It's a resort area. This was for Podfest. It was right by SeaWorld. So I get it. There's all the theme parks. But as soon as I walked downstairs, they're like, hey, and they knew my name. So they were standing at a podium by the front desk. Like, hey, would you like
to bypass it?
Right. Would you like some free? We'd like to offer you some free points because we had an outage this morning. And I was like, okay, free points? Sure, let's do it.
Which sounds weird to me. I mean,
yeah,
okay, so
I took the bait. I was tired.
Morning. It was early.
Yeah, hadn't had coffee. I was going downstairs to get coffee, which is another irk because literally now it was like $18 for some shitty breakfast. So, which is ridiculous.
They charge for breakfast now. It's crazy, and it's like not good breakfast. Like, I mean, this wasn't where it came from.
Oh, they're like, oh, we're going to offer you some free points for the outage, and then what did they say? They go, I see you're blah, blah honors member. I was like, yes. And then they go, thank you for being blah, blah, blah. You're welcome. And they said, hey, by the way, we're offering a trip to any of these places. And if you pay today, you'll get an additional 15,000 points. I'm like, no, I'm not interested. No, I don't want to be. It's kind of like on the plane when they try and make you get the credit card and they blast. You can't hear shit on the plane, but literally as soon as they offer the credit card and they walk around with who fills out a paper application for a credit card anymore?
I've seen people do it.
I know. Let me give you all my personal information, hand it to a complete stranger that it now has all my personal information for some crappy credit card. So I don't like to be solicited while I'm trapped in a hotel or on a plane. So,
yeah, that's a good way to put it.
No one likes it. No one likes it.
I don't know. Some people might.
Some
people might live for those things.
It's such a scam. Like, no thanks. It's like when you have to go. What is it like those conventions where they'll give you a free trip if you listen to their sales pitch. Yeah. That's intentional. At least I know what I'm going for. But this.
I gotta tell my little bathroom story. So in the airport, we were getting ready to get on the plane and the bathroom is really close by. So obviously there are going to be a lot of people lined up. So I go to the ladies' room and there's a line and I'm like, there's so many stalls. I was like, gosh, everybody must have to pee at the same time. So I'm standing there and I'm just kind of, laughing with the other women in the line about the line. And we're standing there for a few minutes and then we hear someone say, oh, none of the stalls are being used. And we're like, what? And they're like, well, you can't really see because they're floor to ceiling doors if anybody's in them and they don't have one of those indicator lights or signs on the door of when it's occupied. So all these stalls have been sitting open while we're standing there in line. And I was like, what a and I'm in user experience, that's my background. So I'm like, what a terrible experience, like you can't tell if, you need to go to the bathroom and some people have to go really bad. It just was mind-boggling to me.
Yes, that's another interesting thing, the bathroom. Why is it that they make the entryway so narrow to get into the bathroom? Like literally, it's a traffic jam nonstop. So
that's odd. It's always tight, bottleneck.
Yeah.
There's like no space and they try to make it curved. And so every time you go into the funnel, you always end up running into someone and you're like, oh, sorry. And they're like, oh, sorry,
And you're dragging a bag. So it's not just like your body. So you're dragging a bag through there and you're trying to squeeze through where they got their bag, you got your bag, and it's always like bumper cars. It's
stalls
irritating.
in the airport, in different airports, stalls that are so small. And I'm like, hello, you're traveling, you've got your suitcase, you don't want to leave your suitcase out, right? When you're in the stall for security reasons. So you're trying to like get, maybe other people do. I don't know. Sometimes I do. You're trying to get your luggage into the bathroom stall and you can't because there's literally no space in there. And I always appreciate, but on the flip side, I do appreciate when they have like hooks so you can hang your backpack or your bag or whatever. But it's weird because you would think, okay, we know the purpose of this building is an airport. Why would you not build it in such a way to have like a really good experience? Even though they've been built a long time ago, a lot of them they're really old. It's like, why would you not think about like a hook or, I don't know. Anyway, I wonder lots of things about people.
Yes. And you see a lot of interesting things in airports and on the plane.
Ooh, no, go ahead. I got one.
No.
When people, be aware when you're walking in the airport. It drives me nuts when people stand in the middle of the walkway with their back and they're like talking to their group or their people, and people are like trying to get around them and they're just standing there. No self-awareness of there's no spatial awareness. Let me put it like that. I don't understand that. I really don't.
Well, it's kind of like no one follows directions. So, for example, American Airlines, you board by group number. So as soon as they're like, hey, we're going to start the boarding process shortly, everyone crowds by the lines. And it's like, okay, you have just everyone regardless of group number. I don't know why they're like, hey, keep the boarding lanes clear until your group is called. But they never enforce it. It's just a suggestion.
They don't. I don't even know why they have those there. They don't use them.
Exactly. So it is super annoying because everyone jams in there. And it's really tough, especially for the people that need to pre-board, that need extra time to have to like force their way through a crowd, whether they're in a wheelchair or, impaired in some way. And it's really difficult for them to get on the plane. They don't say anything. They're not like, hey, everyone move out of the way. Right. No one stand up until your group is called. It's kind of like, to me, and I know this will probably piss some people off, they literally should board from the back of the plane forward, because that makes more sense as opposed to everyone stuffing in and waiting to get to they board the back of the plane last. So same with getting off the plane. Well, actually getting off the plane, you would get up
first,
like the opposite.
People in the front,
But everyone's in a race. It is
to get to the same place to sit and wait. Like,
no,
you get in and you have to wait 30 minutes at least for everybody to get on, get their stuff. You're just, it's
But
weird.
I get it if you have carry-on, right? You want the overhead space. I get that. Trust me, I try and check a bag never because of the nightmare experiences I've had with checking a bag. But
I feel like that's not the main reason. It's like herd mentality. It's like, oh, wow, it's like competition. You're going first. It's very childish that and I've been guilty of it, where I'm like, well, you're not going to get in front of me and I'm going to get on first and da-da-da-da, and I see you moving up. I saw you inch over. It really is quite insane that we behave like that, because we're all in a group and we're all like, well, we should be like, you go first, or
there's no polite.
Go ahead, take some time.
There's absolutely no polite.
Because logically, what is the freaking rush? They have to wait for everybody to get on the plane. So, it doesn't matter how fast you get in your seat, you're still going to have to wait. So it's funny to me.
It doesn't make sense.
No,
but
it doesn't.
I fall victim of it too.
I know, I do too.
All tense and I want to get on the plane sooner than later. So it's annoying. It's annoying. And they never follow the boarding process kind of the way that it's discussed. So
speaking of process, what about the priority tickets for luggage? What is that about?
I think it's just a way to put something on your luggage. I don't know. Every time. So if you have status, even if you have like, let's just say gold status or whatever it is, they put a priority tag on your luggage and you're supposed to get it sooner. You're supposed to get it sooner.
So it's like loaded on the belt first when you pick up? Or what does it actually mean?
You're supposed to get your bag before non-priority tagged bags.
So does that happen, or do these people just throw it on the belt and they don't care what order
I don't think it happens. So yes, I feel like they just throw it on them. I've had my bag lost so many times, broken, cracked. It's just, the whole baggage claim thing is a wild ride, no matter what. It is always a wild ride. And I'm always amazed. And I've spent a lot of money on luggage, like a lot. We were talking about this.
Yeah.
So I have a particular brand I like. it lasts, but I'm like, why am I spending like money on luggage that is getting destroyed? My luggage is not that old. It looks like it has been through a
Run
cheese
over.
grater. It is scratched, destroyed, marked up, and they just toss it around. So I'm like, why am I spending all this money on luggage?
I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense.
I care less what my luggage looks like as long as I can find it.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is, when someone picks up your bag or so anyway, the baggage claim is always like just watch them toss the bags on the belt. That's all you need to know. There's no care. There's really, and the way that they're tossed in the plane. So it's kind of silly.
Do you eat on the plane the meals that they provide?
I don't. Okay.
No.
If you're flying business or first class, I avoid the food. I just don't trust it.
Especially on your stomach. I did eat one meal on the way there, but it was just chicken. So I just ate the chicken. I didn't eat all the sides. But
yeah.
It's always funny. It has a smell when they prepare it. It smells like a Stouffer's pizza.
Yeah, because they put it in whatever that warming oven or microwave and it's all cooked at once. And I'm just like, no, there's nothing worse than being sick on the plane. There's nothing,
you're
in
not
my
wrong.
opinion, it's like one of the worst experiences. So I have no desire to flirt with diarrhea.
I do like vomiting. When they offer the nuts and they heat them. I like when they eat them.
They always heat them.
Yeah. I will say our flight attendant, the woman who was our flight attendant on the way back from our Orlando trip, was the best flight attendant I've had in a long time.
She was very nice.
There were 2 ladies on board, and I wish that I had gotten their names because she really deserved like a gold star. I felt like I was at home and my mom was taking care of me. Like she was like super attentive, super timely. Brought me extra nuts because I don't like eating on the plane. She was like, oh, even before I finished, she's like, oh, you must like those. I'll bring you some extra, because I didn't get the meal that time. And she was just the nicest, sweetest lady. And I was like, gosh, I would pay to fly more if I had more like customer service like that. I'd pay for a lot of stuff if I had great customer service like that. Like someone that actually cares about what they're doing. So I do have to give a shout out to her.
I feel like that's becoming less the norm.
It is. And
even
you really
hospitality
recognize it,
in that sense. Yeah. And
which
so
is
you really appreciate it. You really appreciate, especially if you're like, honestly, people that are spending money to upgrade or whatever.
Yeah.
Whether it's $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, you expect a certain level of service. Actually, I expect that level of service whether I'm spending that much or not. So
I feel like it's just the bare minimum of just being polite, like why is that so, like I shouldn't have to pay more money for someone to be nice to me,
Yeah. And I get it's they jam pack these flights now as well as make them so close together. As far as like the plane landed in 15 minutes ago, they deboard and then they got to quickly clean it up to get the next flight out. So there's not a lot of time to turn the plane over as far as get it ready for the next boarding. So I feel like that's part of the issue too. Half the time the crew is running from one flight to the next.
Yeah.
So I'm not making excuses. I don't think I've had a lot of rude flight attendants that have been just miserable.
Same.
And I've had some good ones. So it's a mixed bag, unfortunately. And it's a shame.
I would also say, too, that I know we're sitting here talking about, they could be better. They could be better. But I also think, too, that the people flying or customers could be better. Like, when was the last time you were like, hey, thank you so much for getting us to our destination safely? No one says that, and even myself, I'm like, granted, it's their job, but, people like to be thanked. They like to be recognized for doing a good job. So I can put that back on us.
I know. I feel like we're always polite. We're always grateful and thankful. And I always thank the flight attendants after a flight.
One thing that I love about you when I first got to know you and first met you, we started being together. I noticed that in hotels, you would always leave a tip for housekeeping, which I always thought was super nice that you would always do that. Yeah, I don't know people
standard
that do that.
practice.
I just think it's a polite thing to do.
If they don't come in and clean the room every day, and I'm not super messy. It's not like I left the room a disaster. I would always tidy up, put the towels all in the bathroom, making sure that, it was clean. But yeah, I would always leave a note. Yeah. I would leave a note with a tip just saying, thank you for cleaning the room. So I don't know. I felt like I thought that was normal practice. Maybe it's not, but
I've never known anybody to do that.
I always like to take care of the people that take care of me. And especially when you're on the road, it's so important that the service industry that's taking care of me is that I am reciprocal, that I show appreciation. So when you travel a lot, it was funny when I was traveling to Connecticut every week, I would start to leave my clothes there because I knew I was on a contract for like a year, and they would dry clean them for me. And then they would put them in my room for me. So I didn't pay extra for that. That was just good service. The concierge was I got to know them, and they took very good care of me. So to me, it's like when you're away from home, that's your home away from home. It's nice to have somebody looking out for you or providing a level of service that is above and beyond what they have to.
Right.
I greatly appreciate it. And the little things. I feel like hotels don't do the little things anymore.
No,
so before you would
minimum.
Get a note, right? You would get a note. Thank you for staying here. Thank you for being a member.
Or the Andes mints on the pillows. No one does that anymore.
There's no turn down service anymore.
It'd be kind of nice though. I mean,
nicer hotels, you can get turn down service, or I forget. What hotel did we stay? Was it Vegas? Did they do turn down service?
I don't remember. I feel like I haven't had that in a long time.
Yeah. But also, so that brings up the question of, I think we've changed the way we travel. I've moved away from hotels. I'd much prefer staying in a VRBO or an Airbnb for the same amount or less money to have the level of comfort without the overhead of the hotel nonsense, right? That hotel we stayed in Orlando, and I sent them a very descriptive email about some of the challenges that we faced. I mean, the mold in there, Kathryn and I could not breathe in the room. It was so bad. Every night we would have like literally breathing issues.
Yeah.
And I checked the air conditioner to see if the filters were clean, but there was something in that room that was just causing massive.
Or maybe there had been pets in there. I don't know.
I'm not allergic to animals, so I don't know. But I sent not a nasty email, but I sent them what I thought some of the challenges were, and they literally just said, thanks. We hope you come back. And I was like, no. And I don't ever ask for anything for free. I wasn't expecting them to comp my trip or anything, but I expect more than we hope you come back. Well, no, I can honestly tell you, I will never come back. I will never stay at your hotel, and I will never recommend anyone stay there because it just wasn't good.
There's no personal touch. So, I would say, not that this is a topic, like we're on the AI topic, but when you start incorporating AI as your customer service to like respond to people, I don't appreciate that. It's not, I would much rather value, or I would value more someone who is reaching out personally and saying, hey, got your feedback, or at least to make you feel heard, whether they do something about it or not. I think people want to be heard. So you really do yourself a disservice if you're relying on AI to do your customer service for you. And I'm not saying they did, but any kind of automated messaging like that is an instant, like, big no-no to me when I'm traveling or doing anything in terms of like art.
So worst hotel experience for you? Like, what was some of the most challenging that you've experienced?
My experiences are always like, I'm always, as you said, I don't like staying in hotels much anymore, honestly, at all, unless they're newer. I'm always OCD about cleanliness. Like, it really bugs me when I find hair in a towel, or the bathtub looks like it's never been scrubbed, or the floor is nasty, or it smells. So that's always my biggest thing. And even when I look at Airbnbs and VRBOs,
hey, pause. You got to wipe your nose.
Shoot. Sorry. Okay. When I'm looking at Airbnbs and VRBOs, I'm always looking at pictures of their bathrooms first, and then I look at the bedrooms. I know that sounds silly, but it's really proved to be effective for me. So, worst hotel experience, I I haven't had a bad one like bed bugs or anything like that, but I've had some pretty nasty hotel rooms where I'm like, I take that back. I was visiting somebody and they had allowed me to stay in this apartment kind of / rental property. And I have to say, it was probably the most disgusting place I've ever stayed. It had not been cleaned, and you could visibly tell that there were like people. It was a person's dirt all over the bathroom. So I left that place middle of the night, and I had the kids with me, and went to a hotel down the street just so I wouldn't have to sleep there. So that was the worst one. But I've also had some really great ones too. So.
This is more about pet peeves. I mean, we're purposely talking about pet peeves. We're not just saying every time is a miserable experience.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is definitely things that irritate me. But so what about you?
I had a rough experience in Memphis, of all places, by the airport.
Really?
I stayed in a hotel. My flight got canceled, so of course, they don't offer you a hotel. So I had to quickly scrounge and find a hotel close to the airport because they got me on a flight the next morning. Mm-hmm. Well, I ended up not staying in this hotel. I actually slept at the airport because I got to the room and there was roaches and other insects. The carpet was torn and stained. The wall had like it literally looked like a crime scene. So that they had just done a poor job cleaning up. So I've had a couple of those experiences where it's just, you go with your gut, right? Like this just isn't going to work. I can't sleep in here. And you talked about it when we were in Orlando about the hazmat suit, right? Like sleeping in a cocoon, nothing touches, your body doesn't touch anything.
I would love that.
I think we should invent the mattress wrap. So literally you sleep in a soft cushion because the mattress in that hotel room last week, there was a spring. And I was like, gosh, I haven't felt a mattress spring poking me in the back, for quite some time. That mattress must have been like 25 years old. Like legit. It was super freaking old. So it was so bad. It was just so bad.
It was bad.
It was so bad.
So I have a question.
Yes.
How has travel over the years? I'm talking like young, like when you were young, travel when you're young versus like going through the years, traveling for business and pleasure. How has it changed you or changed your view of travel?
Of travel or humanity? It has definitely tainted my view of humanity. I feel there's not a lot of patience, politeness, grace. And we're all guilty of it, but no matter how pissed or annoyed I am, if I see somebody that needs help, I'm always going to try and help. So I feel like that's not a lot of people do that, especially in the airport. I mean, we talked about this on an earlier episode. When I would ride the train into Philadelphia every morning for work.
Oh, yeah.
I'd see people that were either had a disability or pregnant and no one would give up their seat. I was just like, gosh. Where have we gone when it comes to just manners? Or someone elderly, right, that could use the seat. I mean, everyone is in such a rush. They have blinders on and they really don't want to be bothered, which I get. But on the flip side, it really doesn't take a lot to be polite. It really doesn't. And you shouldn't expect. Go ahead.
No, go. You shouldn't expect what?
I was just going to say you shouldn't expect anything in return, but I kind of feel like a thank you. Right? Like at least acknowledge that somebody did something nice.
Yeah. I remember being young. I didn't grow up where we were flying everywhere all the time. So I didn't really start flying until I was 18 for college. And I remember thinking how exciting it was. I had never been really anywhere. And, you get on the plane and you're not really thinking about all the stuff that we're talking about now. You're like, oh, this is so cool. I get to be on a plane. I'm going somewhere new, and as you continue doing it through the years. And I don't know if people feel the same. Do I enjoy going somewhere new? Yes. Do I enjoy the process to get there? No. And I wonder when people say they love to travel, is it, if you go a level deeper, is it you love going to new places to experience new things? Or is it you love the entire process, like from boarding the plane to getting there, So I don't enjoy travel. I enjoy new places, but I really wish, and I have said this multiple times, I wish I had a transporter that I could just push a button and then be there, because gosh, it takes so long to get where you're going, and it's so stressful. And half the time you never know whether it's going to be a good experience or a bad experience. And so, yeah, the older I've gotten, I'm like, I really don't like traveling, the process of traveling anymore.
Yeah. And you know me, when I was, traveling as much as the anxiety that I would experience the day
Yeah, it
before
was really
travel was
bad for
just
you.
brutal because it's such a grind. It's such a grind.
Yeah.
So, especially when there's issues, and it drives me nuts because they do very little to do anything about it. So,
Right.
especially when it impacts your livelihood, right? So, but some of the good experiences I've had traveling, I've had some good and bad. Like renting cars has been a mixed bag, but I usually have a decent experience, except for when they give you the car that's been smoked in for 20 years.
Yeah,
I'm just like, my goodness, you're not supposed to smoke in these things. Or some guy put Vaseline all over the windows. Like, how? Like, who does this on the windshield? So you couldn't literally.
Weird.
It was weird. So
that was weird.
And wrote a lovely love letter to whoever got the car next, which was me, which was a big F you. It was written in any case. That was fun. So yeah, lots of interesting travels. I could go on and on and on. And we literally, I just skimmed the surface. I have so many travel stories that I could do deep dives into, but we don't want to bore everybody too much.
No.
With some of the travel stories. So I would love to know, what are some of the listeners' pet peeves. I would love to know, kind of what are your travel quirks or travel irritants or travel wins.
Yeah.
I would love to hear how other people feel about current day travel. So
before we wrap up,
we're not going to, we can keep going.
Oh, okay. I just I forgot, and then I remembered there were two things that I wanted to mention. So have you ever lost something on a trip? And two memories came to mind with you and I, is that we were in Breckenridge, Colorado, and we went to dinner one night, and it's super dark out, and we parked on the street, and we came out from dinner, and this, mind you, the main street is one street, okay?
Right.
You walk up and you walk down, and you're done with that street. And we parked the car on the side of the street, just like everybody else, and we couldn't find the car. You and I both thought someone had stolen it.
Or it got towed.
Or it got towed, which didn't make any sense because everybody parks on the street there. And it took forever for us to find it. We just didn't walk down far enough. So that was one experience. And that was just,
Panicked. I could have been the devil's lettuce, but panicked, or the altitude.
The second one was, we went to the beach, and you had the rental car key in your pocket of your swimsuit shorts. And you went in the ocean.
And lost the key.
Lost the key.
Shout out to the rental company. So I have to say that was one good experience, because literally I had no clue that I kept it in my pocket. I'm usually pretty good about this stuff.
Yeah, you are.
But for whatever reason, that day I kept it in my pocket, and it was gone. It was in the ocean.
That thing was gone.
Lost. So the car's locked. We have, all of our stuff. And I call the rental car company, and I'm like, I lost the key. Can't find it. And literally they sent somebody out and picked up the car.
Within a couple of hours. Yeah.
But we didn't have to stay with it. They took the location, and then they're like, hey, just come back out to, the closest rental place, and we'll get you into a new vehicle. And they did. And it was super, they took care of it. Now, they also offered to drop a vehicle off, but it was going to take too long. So I just chose to Uber out there. But
and fortunately,
I forgot about that.
We could walk back to our Airbnb. Like, we weren't far, but because the beach was really close. But oh my gosh, it was so funny. You looked at me and you were like, we got to the car, and you were like, where's the key?
I couldn't believe I did it. I was so upset with myself, because I'm like, man, this
We
never
didn't. We
happened.
were fine, but you were
I was
so
just hard on
upset.
myself because I was like, damn,
Yeah,
I never do this. But
I
it
know.
happened that day, and it was a shame.
It did.
It was a
Yeah.
shame.
But it didn't
God, if
ruin
I
the
blocked
trip.
that out of my brain.
I
No,
know.
it made for a good story.
It
It
did.
definitely made for a good story. So, and that's the other thing too. At travel tips, always talk to the locals to find out like good spots to eat. So,
Yeah.
always struggle to find good places to go and eat because I get tired of. I'm not a huge chain restaurant person, and we don't eat out all that often. To be honest, we we cook at home like every night. But when we do go out, I'd like to try new stuff. And as wonderful as Applebee's and all those places are, I prefer to go
we
to.
try to avoid the tourist traps.
So talk to the locals and find out where the good spots are. So, any case, well, I think we covered a lot of ground in this topic.
We did. It's not fun in the moment, but it always makes for funny stories.
And if you want to hear more funny stories, let us know because I have a lot. So thank goodness I never had any issues with a plane engines blowing up and I've been on hundreds and hundreds of flights, but
right.
Lots of experiences with people on planes and interactions. So, and mechanical failures, which is always fun. So yeah, this is our travel pet peeve version, and
which
maybe
I'm
we'll
sure
do
is very relatable.
Yeah, we'd love to know what other people's pet peeves are when it comes to travel, and I guess we'll put this one in the books. And we're just coming off of Podfest, so we got lots of things in the works. We're going to start setting up on location. We'll tease that out. We'll do a little bit of a preview or promotion for when we set up here locally, and if any locals want to come out and be a guest on the show, we'll let you know dates and times
when and
where
we
we'll be.
are.
So we're going to go on the road. We're going to take this show on the road.
Mobile.
That's right. Mobile well. We're going to dig a hole and fill it with the source of something greater wherever we plop down.
Land.
So, yeah, I tried to weave that all in together for a promo. It didn't quite land. I didn't stick the landing on that one. And the Olympics are coming up, so we can talk about that in a future episode too.
I'm excited.
I love the Olympics, so
me too.
I'm excited to watch especially the Winter Olympics. So in any case, that's another episode in the book. Thanks for tuning in to The Well. I'm Drew.
And I'm Kat.
And make sure you like, subscribe, follow, engage with the content, and let us know any topics you want to talk about. So we will see you for episode 16.
That's right. Peace out.
Bye. Peace out. Peace.